Hey, welcome back to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. I'm your host, Coach Zach. I'm here with Coach Brandy and introducing Coach Jolie for her very first episode. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're excited. Today, we are talking about holiday hold'em, not gaining 2 to 5 pounds of body fat like the average American over the holidays. So we're going to share some helpful tips with you to stay on track and not completely blow it and be able to have a little bit of fun too, I guess, and enjoy yourself. But before we do, we want to give a shout out to a client of the week. That's something that we always do. And Brandy had a pick this week, so I'll let you go ahead.
I wanted to shout out to Michelle Grabitz. Michelle comes in and trains super hard. Even when she travels, she schedules training sessions. She trains over Zoom. So she tries not to miss a workout, and she comes in, she works really hard. She listens to all the podcasts. And she's always bringing information to me as well. Like, I listened to such and such podcast and I was, wanted to bring this up. And so just really engaged and focused on health and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And I love that. She works hard. She's fun to train. She has a great attitude. She trains with her husband sometimes. And that's really fun too, to have the two of them come in. And they're setting great examples for their kids, their adult kids, who are very active as well. And I think that reflects on, the example that they've set as parents over the years. So shout out to you, Michelle. You're awesome.
Absolutely. Totally awesome. And, we love having the husband and the wife combo here, because it just makes it really truly does make things so much easier at home to stay on track. You're making healthier decisions with your, diet. And if one of you is not feeling like going to the gym, the other one does, and vice versa. And it just kind of ebbs and flows, but it really does help, from an accountability standpoint, which is so cool. And so, we love that. It's great. I mean, we're going to be talking about things you can do over the holidays. Doing activities with your spouse, definitely one of them, right? So, okay, well, let's dive in to let's give a breakdown of what happens over the holidays typically between Thanksgiving and New Year's. Average American gains anywhere from 2 to 5 pounds. I've seen as much as 10 in that very short, 6 weeks, whatever it is. And I think that it really initially just comes down to mindset, because Thanksgiving hits and people just go into holiday mode. It's like they have this whole mindset shift of, I don't need to worry about anything until the first of the year, including my health. Mm-hmm. And they just go berserk with their diet, and they stop working out, and they just kind of I don't know what it is. I hate this time of year. I'm just it's awful.
The Grinch.
I'm like, this is, it's like, look what we do to ourselves,
I know.
And everybody, I'm going to get going here.
Let's go.
Everybody bakes each other garbage. Like, they make cookies and breads and all this stuff, and then they give it to you, and you take it, and you're like, oh, thank you so much. And then you take it home, and you're like, I don't want to eat this. Like, I'm going to eat, what am I supposed to do with all the bread and the food and all the stuff? Like, I'm going to end up throwing this. Can we just stop, giving each other goodies? Can we just stop that? Where did that come from? Why are we doing that? And everybody's like, oh, well, I have to eat it because it's in my house and so gave it to me, but I know I'm going to throw some of it away. And it's like this whole guilt thing. And then, I don't know, man, what are we doing here?
It's habits.
Yeah.
Habits and traditions, I think, that have been established for years, and they just keep perpetuating.
They do. Give the gift of Lyft. You want to give somebody something good.
I like that.
Give them the gift of Lyft. Give them a gift card to the gym or something. Anyway, okay. Go ahead. Brandy, what share your thoughts on this. I'll go to you.
Yeah,
so.
Okay. Well, I think, yes, you're right. So to prevent that gain of 2 to 5 pounds or more between now and like New Year's, there are many like things that people can do, like lifestyle changes people can start to implement if they haven't started developing healthy habits. If you've already developed some healthy habits, just the discipline to sticking with those is really important over the holidays. And then like you said, it's a mindset shift, so I would say if someone's thinking, well, it's November, I'll just wait until after the first of the year to start. Between now and then, these unhealthy habits are just going to build and build and build. And then once the new year comes, it's going to be even harder to start that new routine, because now you've added 2 to 10 extra pounds, you're not feeling good, and you have to unwind all of that. Whereas if you're listening to this podcast today, and you want to change that mindset, I would say start building the momentum now, so you can start incorporating even just small little tweaks or small habits to your routine to start building up that momentum and to really kind of stay on track, so that, when the new year comes, you've already set yourself up for success.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because everybody does think, Thanksgiving hits and they're like, okay, I'm going to start. If they haven't been working out, they're like, I'm going to start in January. Everybody kind of knows that that's like January is New Year's resolution time. And it's interesting. It's never January 1st. It's always like the second week of January, because everybody has like this 6-week hangover from, this period of time. But one thing that you kind of sparked is, people don't know this. January is actually, not only is it the time of year when most people sign up for gym memberships, it's also the time when most people cancel their gym memberships. Because what happens is they get to this like holiday time and they stop working out and they lose all of their momentum, and then they get to January and like, well, yeah, I just kind of fell off, and I'm just, I don't really think that it's worth doing that anymore. People don't realize that, yes, there's lots of people getting started. There is an equal amount of people stopping at that exact same time. It's kind of this like dark secret, I guess, of the fitness industry that nobody talks about. Everybody talks about the like upside of, oh yeah, everybody's starting their gym memberships, but there's just as many people like canceling and quitting and giving up.
Yeah. Every time you stop a routine, whether it's like going to the gym or eating healthy, if you stop that during the holidays, or if you've never built that habit into your routine, it's going to be even harder. Like to start back up again, or to get that going once the new year starts. So, change your mindset. Don't wait till the new year. And then, I think about like people setting New Year's resolutions. How many of you listening set a New Year's resolution last year and stuck to it for more than 2 months? Or can you even remember what that New Year's resolution was that you set last year? Like, think about it. If you're someone who sets resolutions, when was the last time you stuck to a New Year's resolution?
Right.
Like, don't rely on that. Don't wait for that.
Yeah. Okay. So I know that this is so hard, because I don't want to just preach to like deaf ears here, right? I want and for us, health and fitness is our life. And so, yeah, when it comes down to, eating that dessert or being healthy, we're just going to be healthy. Like, that's an easy decision for us to make. But for our listeners, it's not. It really is. There's a lot to it. There's the social piece. There's the mindset of, hey, it's the holidays, I can indulge a little bit. There's this feeling of like love and reciprocity. Somebody gave me this, I have to somehow reciprocate by eating it. I don't know, even though they won't know the difference if you throw it in the trash. But Julie, I'll go to you. You can, introduce all the wisdom that you have here for all of our listeners. But what are some things that you personally do during this time of year to just stay on track and still have fun? So enjoy yourself, but not like overdo it?
one of the biggest things when it comes to food, if I know I have, call it a food event, right? Because they end up, all these events
I like that food event.
Yeah.
they end up being centered around food, right? So trying to kind of not graze necessarily, try and get a good idea of what is already out. If it's something where you can kind of go up and it's buffet style, kind of choose maybe one or two things, or if there's a dessert you're really looking forward to, okay, maybe we don't have 3 pieces of pie and the ice cream. Maybe you have apple pie once a year and you're excited to have this person's apple pie. You're going to indulge a little bit because it's the holidays. You're allowed to, but making sure we're not overdoing it and having 5 pieces or doing.
So you're
portion
saying
control.
survey the land
Yeah.
and then make a decision of I'm going to have that, that, and that, and then like I'm done. I'm not going to just go nuts.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, I haven't heard that before.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like
Yeah, it's
it.
a different.
I like that.
It's a different perspective.
Because I think when we're at these events, and especially it's different when you know if it's family and it's a family style and you have your grandmother's pie once a year, cookies or whatever it is. You know, it's one of those things where are you just gonna forego that because it's sugar and you shouldn't indulge in it, or are you gonna have a little bit and tell grandma, oh my god, it's amazing, it's the best.
She
it's
had
ever
to bring
been.
grandma into it, didn't you? You had to bring grandma in, just make everybody feel guilty. Grandma could die tomorrow. This could be the last time you see her at Thanksgiving, so you have to eat her pie.
And plan for that. Like if you know that's coming up, plan for it. And if you want to indulge in that pie, indulge in the pie. Don't feel guilty about it, but plan ahead. So, one meal is not going to make or break you. It's when it's one meal followed by another meal and another meal and another meal, and those start to snowball, that's going to make or break you. If the rest of the week, you follow, healthy eating habits, you're getting plenty of protein, you're eating your veggies and your fruit, and you're getting everything that you need throughout the week, and you plan for that indulgence on that day, that's not going to make or break you. Like, eat that meal, have that pie, and feel good about it, and then move on. And then the next day, go back to your healthy routine.
Thanksgiving is one day.
Right.
It's not 4 days. And people turn it into like this 4-day eating event where Thursday you have Thanksgiving, but then you have leftovers. And so you have to eat the leftovers and all the things. And it's like, give the leftovers away, send them home with the family, or just say, hey, you guys can take this or I'm going to throw it out. Don't feel guilty. Nobody's going to eat that food if you don't eat it. Right. So yeah, I mean, be grateful for what you have, but like at the same time, you don't need to think, oh, well, there's starving people in Africa. Just, they're not going to eat that food. So give it to your family. And then if they don't want it, toss it in the trash so it's not there. And then you had Thanksgiving Day, right? It's not like an ongoing thing. You don't have a week of Christmas where you're just constantly eating and drinking and having the cookies and the breads and all the stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get, a week through that and you did gain 5 pounds.
Right. It's Thanksgiving, and then it's, holiday parties and, a bunch of events that tend to evolve around food, and, plan for those. If you know that you're going to have a work event that is going to have a bunch of food that's being served and alcohol and things, set yourself up earlier on in the day. I would say, like, I've heard, some people will say, well, I'm not going to eat during the day. And then I'll just indulge when I get to the party. I would say the opposite of that. Like, eat a good breakfast, have a good lunch, like make sure you get your protein.
Hungry. Yeah,
don't show up hungry. Show up, like already have eaten healthy throughout the day, and then have an indulgence, but don't overindulge. Make sure that your portion sizes are within control. Limit the alcohol and the sugar. Like, if you want to indulge a little bit, do that a little bit, and then, have water the rest of the evening, or, just make sure that you're not going to that event starving, because then you will really overindulge and feel miserable.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's a big one. So, and then I would also say, like, if you're going to a party, you're probably wise to choose to have a couple of drinks or choose to have dessert, not both. and make up your mind before you get there. Kind of like the survey the land thing, like go knowing, okay, I'm going to do either or, not both. And if you don't, what'll happen is you're going to have a couple of drinks and then inhibition's going to, change. And then you'll be like, I'll have all the desserts. Right. So you really kind of need a game plan going into the event of what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about from an activity level standpoint? Because we know that, for us at the gym, typically a couple of days leading up to like Christmas and then between Christmas and New Year's, we're pretty slow in here. Thankfully, we stay pretty busy from Thanksgiving to like up until that point, but we notice a little bit of a decrease in attendance. I mean, I think people are traveling and stuff. So from an activity standpoint, like what do you guys think is most important? Be able to go and do things, but not lose all of your momentum.
A couple of things. One, stay active no matter where you are or what you're doing. It could be as simple as going for a walk. Anybody can go out for a walk and do that anywhere they are if they're traveling. So stay active. You can especially eat after a meal. That helps with digestion.
Eat after a meal?
I'm sorry. Walk.
Walk after a meal.
Walk after a meal.
Eat and then eat a little bit more. Yeah. No,
So
that's what you're not supposed to do.
Go out for a walk after a meal. That can help with cravings, like after dinner cravings as well. Like if you have dinner, then go out for a walk. That can help to curb cravings later on and helps you to stay active. I would also say, if you are traveling, most hotels have a gym. So you have access most likely to a gym if you're traveling. So if you have that opportunity, go in and use the gym at the hotel. If you don't have access to a gym, if you're staying with family or friends, utilize what you have. So if it's hiking trails or go for a family bike ride or, just stay active, run around with the kids.
Or even if you just need some time to yourself when you're with your family. I love, you know what I mean? Because if you're with your family for a long weekend, you want to get a workout in. I'm a big fan of traveling with some mini bands if you can, some elastic bands, just being able to kind of get a little bit of extra resistance training in when you can. If there's a room or outside where you can just kind of, go outside or shut the door. And even if it's a 20 to 30 minute workout, just making sure you're prioritizing the movement and kind of going for that consistency over perfection.
I mean, go have a snowball fight with your kids.
Yeah.
Right? Ski, snowboard, get sled, do something outside that's active at the very least. It doesn't have to be a workout. A workout's ideal, but go have fun, play with the family and enjoy yourself. One thing that just a thought that I came up that's a really helpful tip that I forgot to mention. If you're a coffee drinker, drink coffee in place of dessert. Mm-hmm. It's a really simplistic thing that a lot of times, I mean, probably decaf if sleep's very important too. Yeah. But if you are somebody that has cravings for dessert and sweets, a lot of times just having a cup of like decaf coffee after dinner, when everybody is having dessert, will help you kind of overcome those cravings. And that's a super easy thing that you can do if you're a coffee drinker. Just have some decaf coffee, and then a lot of times you won't have those cravings.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So anything else?
Be kind to yourself over the holidays. I think holidays can be really stressful, and there's a lot of expectations that we place on ourselves and on each other. So be kind, follow the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, try to make healthy choices, and then 20% of the time you have those indulgences, and then move on and just be kind to each other.
Yeah. Sugar is poison and everything.
Be kind and sugar is poison.
Be kind and sugar is poison. So just, do whatever you want, but know what you're doing at the same time. It really is. So try to minimize the amount of sugar that you're getting in. And 80-20, it's like that. Don't have that rule daily.
Right.
Have that rule like weekly.
Right.
Because if you have it daily, it's like, okay, what's my 20% going to be today? I can have those cookies. I can have that. And it's going to end up, just every single day you're having that sugar. And then that's going to be really hard for you to kind of get out of that new routine that you're developing. Sugar is very addictive. So if you can look at your whole entire week and go, okay, I'm going to this, event on Saturday, and that's when I'm going to have my cheat meal and indulge. The rest of the week, I'm going to be really good. I'm going to make sure I get my workouts in and I stay active, and then I'll go do that.
Right.
So, yeah. So sugar's poison. We'll just,
unless it's made by grandma. No.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But some other things that are really important, make sure you're getting out and getting sun.
Yes.
Right. You need your vitamin D, helps with your circadian rhythm. Make sure you're getting plenty of sleep. Take your vitamins so you don't get sick. Like,
Yes.
Hydrate,
your supplements.
drink your water.
And stay active. Stay active as much as you can. And then, if you have to have some of grandma's cookies, grandma's poisoning you with sugar, but it is what it is. So, all right, guys, that's all we got. We'll be back next week with more great stuff. Thank you so much for listening to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. Do you have a question that you'd like for us to answer live on the podcast? If so, all you need to do is head over to the Apple Podcast app on your iPhone and do 3 simple things. First, leave us a rating and review telling me what you think of the podcast. In that review, ask anything you want related to health, fitness, or nutrition. And if you want a shout out, leave us your Instagram handle or name. That's all you have to do. Then listen to hear your questions answered live on the next Q&A episode.